Thanks, Craig. Now let's talk a little bit about the San Diego real estate market. As a lot of you know, a significant portion of my business is dedicated to reverse mortgages. Recently, a lot of my clients have been mentioning words like financial planner and CFP when analyzing whether or not to get a reverse mortgage. So I thought it would be a good idea to bring a certified financial planner onto the show to talk about them directly and get their opinions about reverse mortgages. My guest today is Greg Himfar of GFH Financial. Greg, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you.
Well, first I want to ask you one thing. You were on my radio show recently, and I just want to ask you, can you explain to me exactly what a CFP is? What makes you different than somebody else, so to speak?
A CFP basically has to go through several stages of education. It starts off with a background check, follows through to educational modules, or I believe there's 6 to 8 of them, starting with principles of financial planning. You also have to have professional work experience, 3 years or 2 years as an apprenticeship. And then it culminates with a final exam, which for me was 2 days, 10 hours.
So safe to say, becoming a financial planner is a big deal.
Absolutely.
It takes a lot of work. It's
a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's not easy. The test is not an easy exam to pass. But I'm glad I did it, and it's something that I believe in.
Well, let me ask you a question. Financial planning. A lot of people out there are probably listening and watching the show thinking, what does a financial planner do, and when do I need one, or do I need one?
Financial planning can take place really at any age. The younger, the better. The younger you start, the principles of tax deferral, the principles of compounding your money over time. And everybody kind of takes a look back when they're later in life and says, gosh, I wish I started earlier.
Well, I was telling you on the radio show that my daughter's 8 years old, and we give her an allowance, and literally I think she has holes in her pockets. Every time she gets that money, she puts it in her pocket, she's spending it on something. She never has anything to show at the end of the month. She could use a financial planner, I think, in all honesty.
Absolutely. You can send her my way. I started very early. My father was in the business, in the industry. And I remember opening up a checking account, getting my allowance, putting in $5, $3 a week, and saving. And that got me in the habit of saving.
Well, I think the earlier the better is definitely the way to go. One of the reasons why I asked you onto the show is to ask you your opinion about reverse mortgages. A lot of my clients who are getting reverse mortgages, have basically said recently that they've been bouncing my proposals off their financial planners, or that their financial planner has recommended them to get a reverse mortgage. What's your opinion on reverse mortgages?
Financial planning definitely is broad in nature. And that's a question that I'm often presented with. Should I buy? Should I rent? What about a reverse mortgage? And reverse mortgages are products back in my product development days that suit a specific need. And when that specific need is met, someone can live more comfortably in retirement. Somebody has the ability to have cash on hand for long-term care expenses, custodial care, mortgage payments, insurance. It makes someone's life a lot more satisfactory.
So a lot of financial planners now are considering reverse mortgages a viable option for retirement planning.
I would say so. Everybody has their own attributes and variables, and products are designed to meet these needs, and a reverse mortgage is, of course, one of those products.
Well, before we go, let me ask you one question. What differentiates you from all the other CFPs out there? Because there's a lot of CFPs, but what makes you different?
Well, that's a great question. Off the cuff, I would say I believe in the CFP program due to the heavy emphasis that's placed on ethics. Ethics in my job comes up daily, and anybody who manages money is constantly faced with challenges or questions about which way to go. And via ethics, if I follow those ethics principles that I've learned, I seem to have a clear path.
Well, I want to thank you for coming here today, Greg. I really appreciate it. I wish we had a lot more time because I think I'd have a lot more questions for you. But I want to thank you again for taking the time to come down in your busy day.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for turning into the Real Estate Report, and I'm going to turn it right back to Craig and have him close up.